So, day one has been completed between South Africa A and India A, and we're going to be talking about everything that happened on day one. And it's the final test before the main tests begin. And this is kind of the curtain raiser, of course, for the India series versus South Africa series, which is which has been confirmed today by Cricket South Africa. That, and I will read you the dates that are available for that as well. But let's talk about today's performances. We got a special guest with us as well that has been commentating on Supersport throughout the series so far, throughout this particular test match so far. So, and yeah, let's talk about that and let's get the guys on the show and let's start speaking about it. But before we get going, before we get started, you know what you have to do. Click subscribe, click that notification bell for all future videos as well. And also subscribe to Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly. Every single video, every single issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox, including this latest issue. So go ahead and subscribe right away. So, without further ado, let's get straight into today's content, guys. Really excited about this. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Cricket Magazine. And this is your daily show as well as your review of the third test between South Africa A and India A. It's day one has been completed, and I'm just going to give you guys a quick update. As you can see, I'm with Tsepo and I'm with Aditya today. Tsepo's been doing some excellent commentary on Supersport, some great commentary there. We're following him. So here's some extra insight into obviously the games, etc., and what is happening over there. So we're gonna get his insights very soon. But before we get started, let me just quickly run through what has happened recently in the news. So ultimately, I'm just going to go just get this thing started here. Everything's a bit slow, but I'm going to start with the South Africa series. India, it's confirmed that India will be coming to South Africa and that they will be still having the three tests. And look, Aditya is celebrating over there. Happy about that one. I'm going to read out the schedule for you guys quickly and let you know what is happening with regards to the test, because we were really worried about whether this is going to happen or not, but ultimately it has been confirmed. So initially we were supposed to get a test before the Boxing Day test, but that has now been everything's been shifted. So Centurion will get the Boxing Day test from the 26th to the 30th of December. Then the Wanderers will get the New Year's test, which was supposed to go to Newlands. And obviously, all our Cape Townians are very upset about that because it's always, we always used to get either Boxing Day or we used to get New Year's. And it was like a festive thing and well known. But 3rd to the 7th of January, the Wanderers will be getting that. And then from the 11th to the 15th of January, we will see a Newlands test. Then we'll move on to the ODIs. It's a 3-match ODI series, bilateral series. So it will be something that it's different to what we thought it was going to be. A lot of guys thought that initially this was going to be part of the that ODIs to get the qualifiers, to get into the qualifiers of the World Cup, but it's not. That has been confirmed recently that it's not the case. So we will just be playing a series against India. It's 3 all in Cape Town and Paul. And I think that's the reason, obviously, for moving the test, so that the biosecure environment is a lot more secure if things are happening all in one place for a longer period of time. So they will be moving to Cape Town from there. 19th of January will be the first ODI at Boland Park. Second one at Boland Park as well on the 21st of January. And then the 23rd of January is the final ODI at Newlands. So all matches in the ODIs will start at 2:30 in South African Standard Time. So that's what's happening with regards to India's, guys. So smash the like button if you're happy about that news, please, because obviously we all are happy about that news. But let me get into the India A series and what has happened there. A quick summary. So South Africa ended the day on 249 for 7. Top scores from Sarel, Erwee 75 of 180 balls. Zubair Hamza getting 16 and Peter Malana Duck. Tony DeZorzi 58 of 104 balls. Kayo Zondo 56 of 98. And Sinitembe Klashile is getting 22, 68. He went out, of course. And then from a bowler's perspective, Navdeep Saini, 3 wickets for 42 runs. Excellent performance from him. And Kumar getting 2 for 52. So those are the main wicket takers. And then obviously Shah getting 1 wicket. Let me start off with this one with Tsepo. Tsepo, because you've been in the mix over there at Supersport, just give us your thoughts on the series so far, what it's like to commentate there, as well as this particular game. What stood out to you about this particular match so far from a South African batter's perspective? Because obviously we know that over time, over the last couple of games, or at least the second game, from the second game into this game, it hasn't necessarily been the best of batting performances from South Africa as we'd wish as South African fans. But what's your take on it, and what is your fellow commentators also thought about this particular game?
How's Khalid? Great to be back here. Yeah, it's been quite an interesting series coming down to the wire here, and interesting how it played out as well with the first test that started that was basically just batting on a road. Very easy to score big runs. It was tough for the bowlers out there. Barely made it to third innings. Then the second game had a lot more sporting wickets. I had a lot more in it for both bats and ball. And then the third game, also a little bit more sporting. But what was very interesting was how early the spinners came on. Session number 1, you already saw Kumar and Gautam operating, bowling in tandem. Got the over rate going quite nicely, and they came in quite early. It seemed a bit strange, but at the same time, there was a little bit of turn on the wickets. And the way the South Africans approached the batting was also very interesting. You could see the first session was very, very circumspect, not looking to take quick singles, not trying anything funny. Peter Malan, when he went out for his duck, he was playing a block. And you could see that the South Africans weren't keen to get big runs. As soon as lunch turned over, though, with Sarel, Erwee, and Tony DeZorzi, then they started putting pedal to the metal. I think Zubair Hamza went a little bit too early. He wasn't looking comfortable in the middle. I must say, a little bit disappointed with his performances, especially with the manner in which he went out in the second game, in the second inning specifically, on 0, trying to play a big shot. It was unnecessary, not what the team needed at that time. But what Sarel Erwee did very well was not consolidate, but he kept it very slow, very circumspect at the beginning. And then when it was time to go, he picked up the pace. He did very well with Tony DeZorzi. Tony DeZorzi also did very well to get to his half century. They had a fantastic partnership. I believe it was 111. Put together a good partnership, but unfortunately, running between the wickets, Tony DeZorzi was on the back foot. There was definitely a single there to be taken, but he just didn't take it. Or Sarel Erwee was already down the pitch. He was ready, but Tony DeZorzi was hesitant and didn't make it all the way there. Sorry about that. You could hear the festivities here. You know how it is in Bloemfontein. But a great bowling performance from Navdeep Saini. Cannot be understated. The Indian pace bowlers have been outstanding. Navdeep Saini, Poral, not so good today. Took a little bit of tap from Sarel Erwee and Tony DeZorzi. Had a few two expensive overs in a row, and he had a few niggles here and there. But the line, the length, how they operated with the new ball, Chahar with the new ball, fabulous, absolutely fabulous. Shorter length deliveries. He was a nuisance to bat against. And that's where the collapse sort of happened. But what isn't good from a batting perspective is the wickets in clumps. After the Tony DeZorzi run out, there were a few wickets that fell. It was DeZorzi, then it was Erwee, and then it was Mutsasamy who went out with a very unnecessary shot. And that's the problem, the unnecessary shots. But one thing that we can take away from the batting performance is that what we saw in the last game was a lot of batsmen getting starts but not converting. Sarel Erwee was guilty of this in 2 innings in a row. But it's good to see that he actually converted this time. We'll be disappointed that he didn't get that 100. But yeah, that's basically the batting performance.
Yeah, Sarel is in the mix amongst a lot of openers in this country at the moment. So it's one of those situations where South Africa need to make sure that their backups are right. And our openers, well, besides Peter Malan, I'm surprised that after such a good performance in the first test, that he's not really getting any runs since then. But when a guy that really stood out to me, and I really think we need to put a pin in him as one of the guys that can really be next in line. And I think because of his versatility, is particularly no matter what format he plays, I think wherever he can bat, he can be a backup for anybody. And I think his versatility and the fact that he's a Black African batter should put him in the mix as the next person in line. And that's Tony Dezorzi. Aditya, have you been impressed with Tony so far in this particular game and in the series so far?
Definitely. I think he's been quite a revelation because I haven't seen a whole lot of him, and this series was probably the first time that I saw him score significant runs. So excellent to see Tony Dezorzi do well. I was a bit disappointed to see the run out today because, again, I thought that partnership rescued South Africa. And, after that top order collapse, you know, Sarel and Tony Dezorzi came in and they really set up a solid partnership that could have been even bigger. So South Africa, had they gone on, South Africa could have attacked a bit more and they could have finished with more in the day than the 249 because from the scorecard, it looks like South Africa employed quite a defensive approach to batting. And although the Indians did bowl well, it felt like they were under pressure through the course of the day. Um, but in saying that, I agree completely with Shepo. The wickets and clumps that could have been avoided, and I think it's something to be mindful of, right? But I guess it happens in red ball cricket because starting is probably the most difficult part of batting in red ball cricket. Um, but in saying that, still an enthralling day of cricket and very impressive from both teams because I thought South Africa showed great resilience to get to 249 on a sporting wicket, and well done to Sarel and Tony Dezorzi. Well done to the Indian bowlers as well. Deepak Chahar has been in the reckoning for that opener bowling spot in red ball cricket. He's natural. Swings the ball both ways. That's how he's used in the IPL as well. In T20 cricket for India also. Where he's literally bowled in the power play and he's able to swing the ball both ways. Excellent. Navdeep Saini, you know, from being termed as a predictable fast bowler to see him get wickets in South Africa, I think that's an encouraging sign for this series, obviously, but it's also an encouraging sign for uh, the India versus South Africa series later this month because I'm pretty sure that he'll be asked to stay back as a reinforcement, in case there's an injury or something. And for him to be able to swing the ball at pace, I think that's a lethal combination in South Africa. So overall, I think it was an enthralling day of Test cricket. But I also have to shout out to my friend Shepo for commentating. I did hear him quite a bit today on YouTube, and he did a fantastic job. Seasoned campaigner already.
Yeah.
Stop, stop.
Simba,
Take it easy. Take it easy.
Simba, I want to actually get back to you again. So, this series for me, based on what I've heard from Victor, what I've heard from Boucher, etc., and what it seems like from this team and who's been rested, etc., it seems to me that South Africa are very fixed on who should be in this test series against India. Now, I hope that players that performed in this particular SAA tour that they don't get despondent because if they don't get selected in the main squad, because there's still a lot of four-day cricket to play to really put up their hand. I thought that South Africa would really go on a rebuild back then when Boucher was selected, but he kept kind of synergy between what was there before leading into this particular series. bar maybe Tennis the Brain never got really many opportunities after Enoch, and Zubair Hamza never really got many opportunities after Enoch, because Enoch kind of gave Zubair an opportunity at international level. When he got dropped to the domestic level and got made captain of the Cobras, I think it's kind of been weighing on him recently, because we've seen a completely different Zubair Hamza in 50 over and white ball cricket in South Africa than we've seen in 4-day cricket. So his form is really concerning for me in the longer format, and I hope that he can go back to 4-day cricket and find it again. But when it comes to having that next people in line, or maybe that one or two players, surely we should put maybe another all-rounder into the mix, like someone like Marco Jansen, and then a Tony De Zorzi, a Black African batter that can bat anywhere in the order as a backup. Because I really do think that Carl is product of that their plans going into the India series, based on what we've seen in previous tests. He's been amongst the squad for quite some time now. So what are your thoughts on who do you think in this particular squad that has performed recently in this SAA team, who do you think has a strong option or opportunity to maybe make it into that squad?
I'll start, and you said it. It's Marco Jansen. Not his performance in the last game was outstanding. In a game where none of the top order batsmen were able to convert to their half centuries, it was the manner in which he batted. It was very mature, wasn't playing anything that was outside the off stump, because the Indian pace attack were threatening. The way Tony De Zorzi went out, he was flashing at one that was very wide. His eyes probably lit up and he was keen to get runs. But then he went out for two because he wanted to release. But it doesn't seem like that type of pressure weighs on Marco Jansen. He has a very mature way of going about getting his runs. Leaves very well as well. He's very aware of his off stump. And oh boy, can he connect. Yo. If Marco Jansen wants to, he can connect. And his drives are clean. They are so clean. And it's crazy how young he is. It's crazy how tall he is. And he's left-handed. And the thing about Marco Jansen is that his ceiling is so high. And the slot, I think the gap that we have in the South African team is that all-rounder spot. I don't think Vian Mulder's made it his own quite yet. He hasn't convinced with the bat just yet. But what Marco Jansen offers with his pace, his bowling, we haven't even touched on his bowling yet, but the way he bowled also was absolutely fantastic, because it was disciplined. And that's like a word that defines both his batting and his bowling. Discipline. Sometimes, yes, he misses his lines, misses his lengths, but he was very disciplined, very focused. He had mad drive. So he definitely gets a look in. The pick of the bowlers, I thought in the last game, was Glenton Steerman. But I guess the problem with Glenton is he's a bit sporadic. You know, he can really impact, like change the atmosphere. He gets 2 quick wickets and the game's changed. But in the first game, struggled to get wickets. It was difficult to get wickets on that pitch, granted. But in the second game, I think in the second innings, he had 6 no balls. That's just too many. That's just too many. So I don't think he has the quality. He has the talent. He has what it takes, and he shouldn't be far away, because he was in and amongst selection. I'm not sure when it was, but it was for a test match, and then he got injured. I think it was the West Indies.
Yeah.
Could be wrong. But and I could see why. I hadn't seen him before. Now properly, like really sat and watched him. And you could see his quality, his pace, his placement. But unfortunately, the no balls are just a little bit concerning. But if I had to choose someone, Marco Jansen, it's just the gap is there. He's young. He's left-handed. It's just too nice.
Ticks all the boxes.
It just fits so good. Yeah, it just fits so good.
Before I get back to Aditya to finish us off, Tsepo, from your perspective, do you think that what do you think happened with regards to Jason Smith? Because after a good domestic season so far for the Dolphins, scoring hundreds and doing well for the Dolphins, he performed well in the first test, and then all of a sudden got replaced. Basically, we may think that's by Zubair Hamza. Zubair is a top order batter, but he never got another game after that. And is there talk around the camp over there or amongst you guys on what the reason behind that was?
One of the commentators here don't really rate him that much. Felt that what did he say? That he was going to nick one off eventually, and then he did. I'm not sure exactly what he said, but he did have a decent performance in the first test. But yeah, unfortunately, Zubair Hamza might have made that a little bit difficult. But I think the case is that yeah, like Zubair Hamza just came into the setup or came and then pushed him out. So he must feel a bit hard done by that. But what what you can say is that with looking at Kaya Zondo, is that if you just stay and you keep doing well in the 4 days, like we saw him get a 200 against the Western Province, and he came here and he got 50, he got a decent half century, a very well played half century until he went out. Um, but being a seasoned campaigner, it just shows that you might not always get a look in, but if you're constantly knocking on the door, you will eventually, come in. So I just feel that he was unlucky that the Netherlands tour was cancelled. That's probably the only reason we didn't see more of him. But he can be happy with the 50 runs that he scored. They were good runs that he scored, but maybe has a few more things to work on in the domestic circuits. It will definitely help him some more game time.
Yeah. I agree with that. Those some of those points. Of course, I've watched Jason and Zubair both. It's just a pity Zubair couldn't take his opportunities there when he got given this opportunity now to play. Aditya, from your perspective, let's just get your final words about this particular day's play, and you can also talk about India as well if you want to. The series being confirmed. I never asked you on your opinion on that.
Ecstatic. I think over the last 2 years, there have been such significant disappointments with tours being cancelled or being shortened that to see a 3-match test series and 3-match one-day series is really heartening. And I'm personally okay with the T20s being postponed and played at a later date, but I want to see hardcore test cricket being played. South Africa have a point to prove. They're a young team. They're finding their identity under Dean Elgar, and a lot of players have the opportunity to solidify their reputations through the course of the series. India, on the other hand, have won in Australia. They've dominated in England, and now they have the opportunity to seal it in South Africa, where they've never ever won a test series before. So I know for a fact that Virat Kohli is going to be determined to change that this time around, and I do think India have the firepower to be able to do it.
Scary.
But we'll have to see. I think it's a matter of selection. Team selection is going to be so important for this tour. But whoever wins, cricket is going to be the ultimate winner. Because I think South Africa needs this test series, India needs this test series, and I think all of us just want to watch some real solid high quality cricket. With respect to the SAA versus India A game, it's been an outstanding day of cricket. However, we decide to critique the performances and the style of play or whatever, we can't take away from the fact that it's been really competitive from both teams. Both teams have tried to get on top, and I think at the moment, as they say, you can never really judge a pitch until both teams have batted. So I think we'll have to reserve our judgment of South Africa's batting performance till India bats on this as well. And remember, we can call it the unofficial test or whatever, but there is serious pressure here. This is the third game. It's a series defining game. So both teams will want to win it, and India will definitely want to, because it's an opportunity for a bunch of young guys to really make their claims for the senior team. So I'm very excited to see India bat tomorrow, and I really hope that our batters can put on performance. You know, particularly guys like Devdutt Padikkal, who's got an opportunity in this game. Prithvi Shaw as well. You know, Prithvi Shaw has been making some beautiful 40s. I'd like to see him make 140. You know, he's capable of it, and I hope he does it. But yeah, overall, great day of cricket and great announcement of cricket also. So
Yeah. Awesome. So, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Catch Seppo obviously on the Super Sport commentating. Tweet them as well and tag Cricket Fanatics Mag also in the tweet. Maybe Seppo will give us a shout out. You know, these people watching over there, and tag Cricket Fanatics Mag, the hashtag Guess is Cricket, and all of those things when you tweet them on the live stream. But guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We will be doing a lot of shows coming thick and fast. Obviously, with series coming up, we will be doing reviews and preview shows and all of those type of things as well for the India series. So stay tuned to Cricket Fanatics magazine for all of those things. We also have under 19 World Cup edition coming out of the magazine this month. So we're very excited about that one because I don't think anybody's ever done something like that for a magazine cover to make another 19 World Cup edition. So I think we're going to be the first of that. We're also the first to put a woman on the front cover of a magazine. So guys, you need to follow Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly. Subscribe to that. Link is in the description. So click on that right away. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you guys again tomorrow with another daily wrap of the India A versus South Africa A match tomorrow. Thanks. Cheers. Take care and enjoy the rest of your week.